Coming up, Dumbo. Tom Hanks is a villain, and we're talking about some Star Wars Episode 8 information that has just been released. So, all that and more in this episode of Diz Pop. Diz Pop is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect vacation. Visit them on the web at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everybody. I am your host, Rhino Clavin. Welcome to the show. We've got a lot of news updates that have come out since last week, so we're just going to dive right in right here. And the most recent one is Dumbo. So Tim Burton in line to direct Disney's newest live-action remake of an animated classic. I don't know. I don't know what to expect of this, but nobody really does. But it seems like this movie is all of a sudden gaining a lot of steam, and production is looking to get started with a script by Aaron Kruger, who apparently wrote Transformers 3 and 4, and I do not think that is a testament to the writing skills. So, bleh. But anyway, so what's interesting, two things in the last couple days have come out about this. One, Tom Hanks, they want to star as the villain in the film. Tom Hanks as a Disney villain. I don't know about you, but I would love to see this. I love Tom Hanks, and have we really ever seen Tom Hanks in a villain role? I just think he'd be great. I know he did express interest in being a Marvel villain, and I have no idea why that studio did not hop on that immediately. And he did say he didn't want to be like the villain. He wanted to be out there kicking butt in the streets with all the rest of them. Tom Hanks kicking butt, I want to see that. So can they make that happen? I hope he signs up for this, but now there is a little bit of a conflict. Variety is reporting that the actor might have to, or not might have to, but he might choose to star in a World War II drama called The Greyhound, which he also wrote. So good for him on that. Congratulations. But that movie is being produced by Tom Hanks and his longtime collaborator. But and it's assumed that he's going to take on the main role in that. And I mean, you'd think he would want to, especially since he wrote the film. But I don't see why Dumbo needs to lock itself into a date. It seems like the studio has a date in mind they want, so they're trying to push forward. So that's his conflict. Now, the other person who's just been revealed to be in talks to join this film as well, Will Smith. So nobody was really sure if he's providing a voice or what the deal is, but apparently it's now when the Tom Hanks thing came out, or I'm actually not sure which came first. But anyway, I read today that it's being reported that the role Disney wants Smith to take is going to be that of a father to children who have developed a relationship with Dumbo. Who is the circus animal, like in the original animated classic, obviously. I'm curious if Timothy the Mouse will be a speaking role in this, or if they're going to try something different, but it's Tim Burton. I feel like it's going to be a talking mouse and stuff. So I guess Will Smith's taking on the father figure in this film, maybe, but again, he's also got a scheduling conflict. If he takes the role in Dumbo, it apparently is filming the same time as Bad Boys 3, Bad Boys for Life, which is scheduled to start production, and meaning that sequel could potentially be delayed or shelved altogether, because I know that's had some issues along the way. But we'll find out. Only time will tell. Now, that is our Disney live-action animated stuff. And you know what? Sticking in that same route, I'll skip ahead to something I was going to save to the end. But I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was a Golden Globe Beauty and the Beast, like little 30-second TV spot. And in that, we finally have heard Emma Watson singing as Belle. I believe she is... she's singing the opening song from the film. Oh my gosh. And now all I can think about it, for some reason, is the song from Nightmare Before Christmas, which is What's This? Because it's him going into the town being like, what's this? What's this? And it kind of has that same, like, people popping out of the windows and stuff like that. But you know the one I'm talking about. Now, the reaction seems kind of divided. I love Emma Watson. I love her to death. If you haven't seen Perks of Being a Wallflower, she's phenomenal in that. She's great in pretty much everything she's really been in. I mean, it's Hermione Granger. Come on. But I don't mind the singing in this. I don't mind iTunes auto-tuned. I mean, it's not like she's got the Cher effect happening from like Believe. Cher's a great singer. I'm not putting Cher down at all. I'm just saying, that 90s kind of processed vocalized sound. It sounds fine to me. I mean, we're not getting La La Land or like in-camera singing. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a studio produced sound, right? And I don't want her to sound the same as Paige O'Hara. I don't, you know what I mean? It's that fine line where you don't want it to be too different, but you don't want it to be too alike. I don't know. It's the purest, but you make up your mind. You can check out that preview. I thought it sounded just fine. And on that too, they did announce that Ariana Grande and John Legend will be doing the title track Beauty and the Beast for the film. And I love John Legend, so I'll be excited. I don't care for Ariana Grande. She's got an okay voice though. She's got a good voice. I won't deny that. I just don't think she's like a great person per se. So the next big thing we've got is Star Wars news. I got a pretty bunch of stuff. So first we'll start with the little thing that got announced in. Woody Harrelson is now going to be playing Han Solo's mentor in the Han Solo spin-off movie. So we've got Han Solo, Alden Ehrenreich, and the childish Gambino, whose name Glover is escaping me at the moment, and I even pulled it up so I wouldn't forget this. But the Donald Glover, excuse me. We have 3 people that I'm very excited about. If you haven't seen Caesar, the Coen brothers' most recent film about the like classic Hollywood heist, he's in that. And when I was watching that movie, I thought the movie itself is meh. It's not great for me, but he's got a performance in it as one of the side characters, and he's excellent. So when he got the role, I was like, okay. And the more I look at him, the more I kind of see it, and I think he's going to do very well. And Donald Glover is just perfect casting too, and Woody Harrelson as the mentor. That's interesting. So Woody Harrelson has actually said, I'm not sure where he said this, but he said, I'm a mentor to Han, but I'm also a bit of a criminal. I don't think I should say much more than that because the Force is not allowing me. So that's funny, but this sounds, however, a little similar to me in how in Guardians of the Galaxy, Peter Quill had Yondu as his, Michael Rooker was the kind of mentor to Chris Pratt's character, and, where he is like the mentor, but he's also, a criminal. And now I'm worried they're going to play that route a little bit. But I love Woody Harrelson. I loved him in The Hunger Games. I pretty much love him in everything. I'm excited for him, and I didn't mention this movie last week, but I'm very excited for it. War of the Planet of the Apes. If you haven't seen the Planet of the Apes films, I really enjoy them. I know Craig does not like the first one, The Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I think that was the first one. But I really enjoyed it. It was very surprising. I mean, if just for Andy Serkis's performance as Caesar, you should see that alone. But that's that. That's all we have on that one. So that one is going to be coming out. What is it? It's Christmas 2017 is when episode 8 is coming out, which is this year. And then that one I believe is next in line for 2018. Originally May. We all know it's going to Christmas 2018. So plan on that. Chris Lord, Phil Miller directing. Fantastic duo there. So next up, we got a plenty of kind of little juicy tidbits about episode 8 coming out. Ryan Johnson, the director, writer and director of this film, he was speaking with USA Today recently about the plot of the film, and he pretty much confirmed one thing that we kind of already knew, which was that it picks up immediately after where The Force Awakens picks up. He said he didn't really want to skip ahead 2 years. He wants to see the very next moment about what's going on. Excuse me, I did not silence my phone, and the people in the work chat just will not stop chatting. But I feel like we knew this because a while back when they started shooting the film, they kind of released a daily, and it showed the scene from The Force Awakens where Rey is trying to hand her lightsaber to Luke. And they're like, end of day 1, and it's that same shot. So you're like, oh, okay. So I just assumed that, but he pretty much confirmed it. And one surprise that I don't know. I guess I didn't really expect. I thought this one was going to be a little darker. I think everyone kind of assumed it was going to be the Empire Strikes Back of these trilogies, which is fine. But Johnson said that despite it being the middle film in the trilogy, he said the tone will not be dark like the Empire Strikes Back was. He said, "I want it to be a blast and to be funny and to be a ride the way The Force Awakens and the original Star Wars movies were." And you know what? That's true. The Force Awakens really did captivate that fun. You know, Indiana Jones kind of feel to it, that adventure. Obviously, the original Star Wars movies too, but I don't know. It had that serial feel where you find a thing and you go. You know what I mean? You just go out there, you adventure. I've said adventure way too much, but there's that. And for anybody who cares, I didn't watch the Clone Wars, but apparently there's a rumor out there that the planet Act 2 that Luke is on is home to some sort of avian creatures from the Clone Wars. Way to tie it in. I don't care. But also, Kylo Ren is apparently going to be getting his own TIE fighter. Fancy. With a design similar to Darth Vader's in A New Hope. And I was talking to Steve Porter or somebody, and they were trying to say that they had heard that the helmet was going to get redesigned and the costume would get redesigned. I mean, I assumed his costume was going to get tweaked, and maybe that the helmet would get redone. Ooh, I'm sorry, just kicked my table. So if you're watching this, it was a little bit of a mini earthquake. But I don't know. I kind of really enjoyed the Kylo Ren thing. I get it though, because his costume's very ripped and tattered in The Force Awakens. So, obviously he needs a little bit of an upgrade, but I don't know. Don't go too far. Don't go too far. I know you want to sell toys, but I like it. Maybe something we see Adam Driver's face a little bit, because he was great in that whole film. But that scene with Han Solo on the bridge, whew. Also, apparently, the title of the new film has been known since the very first draft of the script. So even though we're biting our nails waiting, it's not coming out. My guess is they're going to reveal it at the April Star Wars Celebration here in Orlando. Or I think maybe they'll do, I don't know. I think they're going to reveal it before that and do the teaser in April. We got a teaser for Rogue One in April. So I feel like pretty much they're going to just follow that same standard set. I remember I was actually at Disneyland when they released the trailer for that, but that's the Star Wars news I have. I've also got some kind of fun and exciting Marvel stuff. So the Golden Globes were this past Sunday, and every news network, every entertainment outlet was there. And our boy, Tom Hiddleston, Loki, he was there. And I think he was speaking with MTV, and he hinted that Doctor Strange may be appearing in Thor Ragnarok. Ragnarok. I don't know how to say it. I read it, and I've heard it said, but now you hear words so much, it doesn't sound normal anymore. I guess it's not a normal word, but he was talking to MTV, and he has said, and I quote, "Doctor Strange has very intensely cerebral time-bending powers," Hiddleston says. "At the end of Thor, The Dark World, Loki's on the throne. What happened to Odin? So maybe Doctor Strange has to help out with that particular conundrum." And that's the end of his quote. But he was also asked if his character Loki will be meeting Doctor Strange, to which he said he didn't want to ruin any surprises. So one trickster, one magician. It would be kind of cool to see the two of these guys in the same film. And there is a part of me where I'm almost like, yeah, throw Doctor Strange in there a little bit. I love the idea that the Hulk's going to be in this movie. But now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, okay, I want more than just like a cameo from Doctor Strange, I think. Maybe just a little supporting character. But if you've seen Doctor Strange, spoiler alert, I'm going to keep my hand up for those of you watching until I'm done, and I will let you know when it's over. I guess listening you can't really fast forward, but I'll put this down when I'm done saying it. But there is a scene at the end that Thor is there, and so that's all I'll say about that. But watch the movie, decent movie. End of spoiler. Minor spoiler, I should have said at the beginning, but anyway. So there's that. That's something fun and exciting to look for. I'm really excited for this new Thor movie, even though the first two are not my favorite. I like the first one. I don't really love the second one, but I think it's just I'm not into that Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings style fantasy. I think Harry Potter is kind of as far as I go. I don't know, but we'll see. I'm excited. But so Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man in Civil War, Captain America: Civil War, and also in the new Spider-Man: Homecoming film, he was speaking with Vogue Italia and confirmed his involvement as Peter Parker and Spider-Man in Avengers: Infinity War, which is awesome, and that'll be the third time he's played that character. I did talk about in the last episode, there was a list recently, and it listed pretty much everyone's name except for his. Well, now we know he's in there. Thank goodness. Thank the Marvel gods. Zoe Saldana also was talking about her Guardians of the Galaxy character Gamora, and she pretty much confirmed at the Golden Globes that she's going to be a part of it as well. Which I figured, like, she's easily the tie to Thanos, and so the Guardians could easily kind of segue into this a little more. I mean, she's the daughter of Thanos, so... but she was talking to MTV at the Golden Globes. She confirmed her involvement in the project, and she said, quote, "I don't know when they're going to let me read it," referring to the script. "I mean, I'm not looking forward to the 5 hours of green makeup, but every time I finally arrive on set, I feel so happy and so lucky to be there." It always makes me nervous when actors start complaining about the makeup process, because Jennifer Lawrence was Mystique in First Class and X-Men First Class, and she had an allergic reaction to the blue makeup, so they gave her a suit in the second one, and that's why she looks a little different. And then the third one, she's barely blue at all in the movie, and it's because she just really hates the makeup. And so it's kind of a shame, because I think that's why she's not going to probably end up being in any more X-Men movies. But again, fingers crossed, so here's hoping. So that's exciting. Chris Hemsworth also said that he hasn't read the script yet either, and that's kind of how Marvel does it. And they're supposed to start shooting in like a couple of weeks, I think in February. But there's also a rumor floating out there from the Daily Record that's saying shooting for Infinity War begins next month, which I said February, in Glasgow and Edinburgh, Scotland. And here's a fun one: their report lists certain members of the cast that are going to be there, and someone's on this list who hasn't been in the Marvel Universe since 2008, and it is Liv Tyler, which is really interesting to me, because if you remember, she was in the Edward Norton Hulk, which is technically part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because, I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is in the end as Iron Man, William Hurt's Thaddeus Ross was in it, and then they just brought him back into the mix with Civil War, and so I would love it even if she's just in like a scene or two, and it's just to acknowledge that Betty's kind of still out there. Because I'm like, that's the Hulk's love interest, Betty Ross. I don't know what ends up happening with them or anything, but, you know, especially since they've kind of introduced this whole love triangle with the Black Widow. So I'd really like to see what the original main squeeze is doing. But that just makes me even more excited for this film. I can't wait. It's going to be great. And at last report, being filmed with all IMAX cameras. The first movie to be filmed beginning to end, blockbuster movie like this to be filmed from beginning to end with IMAX cameras. So, I mean, that's the format to see it in. But that is the production on that and the follow-up, which was originally Infinity Wars Part 2, but they've changed the title because they didn't want people to think it's Part 1, Part 2. They don't want to think it's like a to-be-continued movie, since apparently it's like two different entities. That's pretty much going to take up most of this year of filming. But at the same time, there's another site, My Entertainment World, that reports that production on the solo hero sequel, Ant-Man and the Wasp, is reportedly set to begin in June in Atlanta. So lots of stuff to look forward to. Very, very exciting. So before we go, see, I'm trying to power through. I'm trying to just get you the info, and we'll move on with our lives. But there was another Cars 3, an ESPN Cars 3, like, first look released, and so it was pretty much like that teaser we've seen with Lightning in the race, and he's in the accident and kind of spins out of control and hits we'd see him right before he hits the ground as he's tilting. There is a new trailer that's about a minute and a half long, and it kind of gives more of the plot, introduces maybe the characters just a little bit. No, maybe it does. But it looks a little less dark than that first trailer did, which gives you kind of goosebumps a little bit, but it still does look pretty serious in tone. And this looks like it could be the first movie that actually involves racing. I mean, like, not just a race, because I know the first one he's like trying to learn from the mentor. I haven't seen the second one, and I know that's undercover, but this one like looks legit. Like, this one looks interesting to me, because it seems like the film's going to be about it looks very Rocky. Like it's that kind of, and maybe not the first Rocky, but one of the later ones where it's like, you're aging and you're not ready. People are like, oh, should he retire? Should he retire? All these young new people, but you're ready. You go out when you want to go out. So that's kind of the whole thing, but it's going to involve. Let me see here. I wrote down the description here. Directed by Brian Fee. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that one. The film sees Lightning McQueen, played by Owen Wilson as always, blindsided by a new generation of blazing fast racers who push him out of the sport he loves. To get back in the game, he'll need the help of an eager young race technician, Cruz Ramirez, with her own plan to win, plus inspiration from the late fabulous Hudson Hornet. And Cars 3 is going to open on June 16th. So, I mean, as always with every forthcoming Pixar film, the animation just looks breathtaking. It looks like Armie Hammer is going to be playing the voice. Armie Hammer, excuse me, who I love. I love Armie Hammer. Is going to be playing the voice of Jackson Storm, the main antagonist there. We've got Bonnie Hunt back, Tony Shalhoub. Cristela Alonso is going to be the voice of Cruz Ramirez. And then, let me see, because so Mater is still in it, because I didn't see him in the preview, and I assumed he had to be. But I was just curious because one of the voices in the trailer actually sounds a little bit like Chris Cooper, but maybe not, because it's not listed on IMDb, but maybe they didn't release it yet. And I'm not going to look. It's always fun to listen and watch somebody as they search the internet, right? But that's cool. Maybe I can get on board with this Cars movie. I mean, I love Cars Land at Disneyland, so who knows. But next, and kind of just in case you're interested, for those of you who love Moana out there, I know you know how I feel. It just didn't connect with me. I'm not going to say it's a bad film. I have issues with the film, but I'm not going to tear it down. It doesn't annoy me. I'm happy it exists. It looks beautiful. I like some of the songs, but on January 27th, the Moana sing-along version will launch into more than 2,000 theaters nationwide, preceded by an exclusive run at Hollywood's El Capitan Theater from January 20th. So on January 20th, it looks like you can see it at El Capitan, which is right down there across from the Chinese Theater in downtown Hollywood. Right across the street from where they do the Oscars. But the film is going to boast on-screen lyrics so audiences can belt out the tunes. That sounds like a nightmare to me. But something fun for a parent and kids who are like into it and they're singing it in their car. It could be cute. It could be a lot of fun for you guys. But and that's the sing-along version, which is coming out several weeks ahead of the... Oh, I'm sorry. I worded my sentence really weird. Anyway, so the film Moana though, it's gonna be released on digital platforms on February 21st, and then the Blu-ray release date is March 7th. So that's exciting for you guys. So, one last thing, and I forgot to write it out. Well, I have two things really. There's apparently a TV. So Inhumans, I don't know if you know this, but Marvel, instead of doing the Inhumans film, they're going to do it as a TV show, and they're going to film it in IMAX. Interesting. So the first two episodes are going to premiere in IMAX, and then then we'll move to TV with next to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is a great show. I'm not caught up, but I've really enjoyed. I saw the first two seasons, and I'm really enjoying that, and that's my goal by this summer to get caught up on that. But Anna Kendrick. So there's a new Disney movie in development that is going to have Anna Kendrick is in talks to star in an untitled Santa Claus film currently in works at Disney Pictures. Written by Miss Congeniality writer-director Mark Lawrence. I love Miss Congeniality, and anyone who says otherwise is terrible. But the film's going to revolve around Santa's daughter. So a lot of people were reporting Anna Kendrick as Santa Claus, but it's the daughter, and I'm assuming she's taking over the family business. But the young woman is forced to take over I could have just kept reading. The young woman is forced to take over the family business when her father decides to retire, and her brother ends up getting cold feet prior to his first big Christmas Eve fight. Currently going by the working title Nicole, Lawrence is slated to direct the film. And I guess Kendrick is about to start filming Pitch Perfect 3. So that must be a quick turnaround time since that's supposed to come out later this year. I mean, I guess those movies don't need a lot of time, but yeah. So that's I love Anna Kendrick. I love her quite a bit. I'm wondering if this has anything to do with. I thought that. I'm sorry. I've completely lost it. There's another Santa Claus movie that I thought Disney was doing. And it was going to have, oh my gosh, his name is escaping me. And I know somebody complained about me not having notes, but I have like 3 pages of notes right here, and I had like 4 pages of notes last week. And I'm sorry. I take forever to write this, and then I think of stuff on the spot. And this is a conversation. We're having a conversation here. It's supposed to be like, I'm in the car with you guys. Well, if you're watching this, you better not be watching this while you're driving, unless somebody else is driving. Kevin Hart is who I was thinking of. But there's a Santa Claus movie involving Kevin Hart, and I wasn't sure if it was that same one or not, because I thought that was also set up at Disney. Maybe Disney wants to capitalize on kind of the Santa Claus front. But I'm looking that up now, and it doesn't really... Kevin Hart's doesn't reflect that information. So maybe that didn't happen. Either way, I love the Santa Claus with Tim Allen, so the fact that Disney's involved in another Santa Claus movie, I'm okay with it. I am quite all right with it. Also, right before I started filming this, or earlier today, Entertainment Weekly, if you're interested, head over to their site. They have released on this week of Entertainment Weekly, the Defenders, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, the Iron Fist, and Daredevil are all on the cover to kind of showcase a little bit of the Defenders series, which is slated to come out later in the fall. We have Iron Fist up first. I'm excited for both of these. This is going to be a great year for Netflix Marvel shows alone, let alone amazing Netflix shows. But they've released, I guess, a set of 9 photos, and which includes our first look at Sigourney Weaver as the villain. So that's kind of cool. I love Sigourney Weaver. And if you should really check out the photos, because they all look really cool. And I don't know if these are just promotional photos or if this is from actual filming, because there's a lot of really cool lighting effects, and it could just be from like a photo shoot, but they would make some amazing wallpapers. I think that's going to do it for this episode. Lemony Snicket Series of Unfortunate Events, Friday the 13th, which is today, if you're listening to this on the day it came out. Check that out. I'm going to be watching that. I'm not sure what time of the day it comes out. Netflix just loves to drop it whenever. We have the Epcot Festival of Arts that we're covering in the morning, so I probably won't get a review or my thoughts up on that until over the weekend, but you can look forward to that. That may be kind of like its own episode. I haven't decided yet, but I am super excited for this. The production value looks great. I loved the original film. I'm familiar with the books. My cousins were reading them, and I'm thinking I might, depending on how this goes, actually go through and finally read them all. I think I read the first 2 of them or something like that. I tried to read whatever the original movie was, but that's it. So that's what I got. What do you guys think about those news stories? What do you think about Woody being in the Star Wars film? I'm curious about your thoughts as Tom Hanks as a villain, or Will Smith in his first Disney movie. I think it's his first Disney movie. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are thinking. Are you excited for Lemony Snicket too? Let me know. Let me know whatever. You can tweet at me, DizPopShow, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's all the same. And comments in this YouTube video. But that'll do it for me for now. Until next time, thank you for watching this episode of DizPop.